Hello again, and welcome to the Self-Harming Pacifist, the Zoom sessions number 4. As you can see, I have changed my surroundings. I record this in December, which means it's Christmas, or soon to be Christmas. As I record this, we're about 10 days away. So I hope you've caught up on the previous episodes. Please do. This is from my book, The Self-Harming Pacifist, which are confessions from depression taken from my experience as I continue to live with depression. This was written a couple of years ago and sort of culminates in leading up to, well, it's sort of a complete breakdown, really, in 2015. So it was after that that I decided to write this book and to try and explain my emotions in order to primarily understand myself, but also to help others who feel the same and to show that they're not alone. So there's lots of so's there. This is chapter 4, track 4, I called it, the self-harming syndrome. Picture the scene. A raging sea, a fierce sky sending pellets of rain down onto a beleaguered crew who cling to a vessel splintering in the wind. The waves rise like bulging walls and smash down their vicious foam onto the delicate skin of the hapless sailors. One of whom is intrepid adventurer Ulysses, a man on a mission, and here, amidst the battering storm, his attentions are being lured by the soulful tune of the deadly sirens of the sea. They offer peace and calm, beauty and protection. They offer death, and they offer suffering while wrapping you in their wicked song. The legend says that to protect Ulysses from this sensual temptation, he tied himself to the mast in order to prevent him from being lured in by the call of the sirens. People with depression have to do the same. A self-harming pacifist is exactly that. Someone who enjoys harming the one, but not the many. Almost as Mr. Spock was wont to say, the needs of the many outweigh the needs of the few or the one. Now, does that make self-harmers selfish? Of course, when one decides to take a knife from a drawer or to punch themselves in the arm, or however the chosen method is, the words of Spock are not at the forefront of the mind. They are not even the words of Spock or Leonard Nimoy, but that of a writer like me, trying to instill some kind of order into a chaotic world. That Spock's mantra has traversed over 50 years is a testament to the power of the words and for words in general. But the question remains, are self-harmers selfish? Imagine a kettle of boiling water with no spout for the steam to escape. As the water continues to boil, so that pressure within the kettle increases. As the pressure inside reaches breaking point, it explodes, the outcome being extremely violent. The kettle would be destroyed. The landscape around the kettle would be severely damaged, perhaps permanently. To alleviate the pressure in the kettle, a small hole is inserted, the spout for which the steam can escape. a small hole is inserted, just enough to allow the pressure out. The kettle is the self-harmer, and what they are doing is performing an entirely saving and selfless act in order to keep harmony and peace in their world. Here's my method. In the morning, my head would be bulging as if about to burst. Voices echoed around my head, creating an enormous noise, static on the radio, screaming from a crowd. My eyes watered for no reason. My heart wanted to scream. My brain could find no resolution. Crying was not a powerful enough release. So you turn to the kitchen utensils and take a long, hard look at the largest knife you can see. It gleams in the sun. Its cold metal smiles at you. You pick a spot you can cover, an actor contemplating a tattoo. Your emotions flood into the foreground of your world. Every ill you have done suddenly returns. It is the most important thing in the world. You start with a scrape. You plunge the knife a little harder. You draw a small line of blood. You decide to dig deeper. Once finished, the knife is casually washed up as if used to slice a tomato before it is returned to the drawer, and then you, the SHP, return to whatever it was you have been doing. Reading, writing, watching TV, preparing lunch for your small child, telling those you love that you are running a bath. Non-aggressive and non-life-threatening harming could well be a normal thing to do. It is our attitude to it and our fear of the mental condition that stops us from embracing it. Instead, in our world, we accept smacking wives and children for being wrong. We accept people in power raping young women. We accept a fight in the street or violent demonstrations. We accept police brutality. We accept parents scolding and hurting their children, pulling their hair or yanking their arms. We accept that domestic violence occurs and there is nothing that can be done about it. We accept abusive drunks blaming their behavior on alcohol. We accept all those ills in our society, and yet, if you self-harm, it is seen as a sign that you are crazy, a wacko, a nut job. Why would you do that? Well, it's far better for me to hurt me than it is for me to hurt someone else or someone I love. Self-harming does not mean suicide. It means self-harming. Yes, it can lead to suicide, but so can alcohol and nasty comments and mistreatment as a child and abusive relationships. If I had instead gone to smack someone in the head to release the pressure and pummeled their brains into the pavement, I would have been arrested and possibly imprisoned and told not to do it again. That is not acceptable behavior, but at least people would have understood that type of behavior. So they would have no need to cross the street when they saw me coming towards them, because I am a sick self-harmer. Is that a society we should accept? The institutions and hospitals that we use to house the crazies are reminiscent of Ulysses being tied to the mast of his ship. His idea of the sirens being all-powerful is the same kind of thinking that the sane among us have of the people classed as mental health sufferers. In order to stop them from hurting themselves and us, we must lock them up, tie them up, chain them up, remove them from the temptations of the underworld while their brains fry with thoughts of being utterly mad. Literally, brains were fried in electrotherapy. The solution, I believe, is to get to a place where you can be the full you, all internal straitjacket and all, and be free to roam as one of the normal ones. If Ulysses had an ounce of self-control, perhaps those pesky sirens would not have been able to seduce him into their waters and devour him with sex. Men we are still led to believe, are unable to control any of their emotions, and women are the evil ones trying to gain power on the back of that. What self-harmers are trying to do is what they can in order to give themselves a chance at life. It may not be seen as a logical way of dealing with a problem, but then we are not dealing with an algorithm or an equation. We are dealing with emotion. The most powerful tool we have in our arsenal. Rather than seeing people with serious mental health problems as a problem, by talking and acknowledging, there is a way to embrace the power that we have within us in order to create a life accepting those emotions. They are as real as the pain you receive when you fall over. But sometimes when you fall, you don't need a plaster or a trip to the hospital. You just need to sit and regather your thoughts and regain your focus. The pain will subside, as does all pain. Our bodies are very good at looking after things. So we should also trust our brain to do the right thing too. There are techniques out there that have been used for centuries to balance our emotions, to accept our personalities and that we are all different. Mindfulness, meditation, calm, stillness, ideas that have been used and proven to help with the symptoms of anxiety and depression. Here's my idea. Perhaps the people who self-harm are the strongest and have a more rounded understanding of the world, their world, and the answers that lay somewhere in between. That's my story, and that's my opinion. Thank you.